Hey, it's Soul, and these are the Tales from the Crossroads. We're celebrating the World of Warcraft through your stories. And this week we share some victories big and small, an innocent misstep, a little bit of trolling, and an unlikely savior. Sit back and relax, and let's get right to it. Baneleaf writes, when Blackwing Descent was current at the beginning of a Cataclysm, my guild had 2 main 10-man teams and a backup/alt team that ran 1 day a week. There was some friendly competition between the 2 main groups and quite a bit of trash talking about progress. My group was the traditional Tuesday-Thursday, and the other group did Wednesday-Sunday with the backup run on Monday. Now our group had to cancel Tuesday because of the attendance boss, and the other group went to Nefarian on Wednesday, but decided to hold off until Sunday to kill him. We full cleared on Thursday, with Deathwing's son standing in front of us, ready for us to kill him, but we only had about 30 minutes left. We decided to get a few pulls in to just see the fight, and actually got very close to a kill before our raid would have normally ended. With all of our group being adults, most with 8 to 5 jobs, we would have normally quit and just went after him the next week. But the competitive juices started flowing, and we kept going. 30 minutes extra with not a word from the raid about quitting, then an hour, and then 2 hours, and then finally at around 2:30 in the morning, the perfect pull, and blow! The dragon is dead. We had the nerd screams like we were a world first group, but we were nowhere close, although we did get it down first in our guild, and in the top 20 on our own very high pop raid heavy server. Everyone was drinking coffee the next morning and complaining on our forums that we were tired, but we posted the kill pics proudly. To this day, if any of us are still in Discord or whatever, or just chatting on Facebook, someone will bring up that epic kill. That is my story. Enjoy. DJ Ghostman writes, I was a new player to the game and forged a large guild, Integrity. Alright. My wife and 3-year-old son had a bad time with unemployment and lost our apartment and became homeless for almost 2 years, going from shelter to shelter every night. No stable home for my 3-year-old and my wife. I was going through serious depression, which led to my attempted suicide, and I was placed into a hospital for 2 weeks. I had a friend that took the wife and son in, but that friend ended up being a not so good friend, right? Putting my wife and kids back on the streets after he took all of their money. I had to find a way to get them safe and off of the streets, and it wasn't family that reached out to help us. I was at my wit's end, and I went to a library and logged into WoW to tell the guild why I haven't been on in months. It was a close friend I made in Warcraft, and they drove all the way from Kentucky to Boston and took us in with them till we finally got on our feet. Now 5 years later, we are back on our feet and doing a lot better with an apartment that we've been in for 3 years now. So thank you, Bubber Joe Bennett, if you were ever near the Kael'thas realm. Joey S. writes, I got lots, but here's a very short story that happened recently. At some point prior to Legion, most players have either heard or experienced firsthand the Dalaran Crater Portal. And as if that port hadn't been used enough to prank many an unsuspecting player, with Legion, Blizzard had the audacity to make it a fixture in New Dalaran. Well, this is where my story begins. I had decided that it was time for me to do my Warlock's Destruction Artifact quest, which takes you to the wilds of Tirisfal Glades. So, being aware of the portal's existence, I decided, why not use it to save time? So I bravely forged ahead, after making a health stone for myself. I stepped into the portal, and as many have done before, cringed hoping I'd survive the fall. And I did, but here's where things took an unsuspecting turn. You see, upon landing, and before I can use my health stone, my trade window opened up, containing mana buns from a mage standing nearby, and I accepted them. Stunned though, it took a moment for me to realize what was going on, and then it all hit me like a truck. It was also at that very moment that mage chimed in, explaining that he was there waiting for his friend to res. I assumed it was Crusader Journey the Defiled. In response, I burst into laughter, nearly falling out of my chair. It was just too funny and unbelievable and unsuspected. After a few moments, I gathered my thoughts, thanked him for the mana buns, and then expressed my appreciation for having made my day. and went on my way. And these are the moments in WoW that you never forget, and one of the countless reasons why the WoW community is so amazing. Brekner Catalin writes, "Probably the most awesome moment was when Warlords of Draenor launched, and I was one of the lucky ones to get back into the servers super fast after they crashed. So I managed to be the first one to hit levels 91 and 92. It was such an epic feeling, especially since I'm playing on one of the top 3 most populated realms in the EU, Silvermoon. Of course, the lagfest that Tielovou was for a couple of hours allowed others to catch up to me and other shaman that were only 106 by the times others were 104. I only finished as the 3rd hunter to level 100, but oh well, it's still one of my proudest moments." Tielovou writes, "Not my story, but more of my hubby's story. It began as a joke and I fueled the fire. Back during the preparations for Cataclysm, we were playing Alliance side in Stormwind, just hanging out by the front bank after he got his Orb of Deception. If you don't know it, it makes you look like the opposite faction. So there he was, looking like a giant blood elf in Stormwind, when this pally comes up running from the entrance, and it looks like he's trying to cast spells, but it's not letting him, because my husband wasn't really a blood elf. He must have been a new player because he asked me, 'Hey, why can't I attack him?' As well as alerting people in trade chat that there was a horde in our midst. I didn't know what to say, but of course my husband did. He says, very methodically, 'Do not harm me. I have come to warn your people, for the Cataclysm is coming. Yet it is unsure when. If I only had my divination items.' And this guy just fell for it, like he uncovered some epic quest only he could see. He asked if he could help, so my husband told him he could save his people by bringing him the items needed to predict the arrival of the Cataclysm, and sent him on this, quote, mission to find wood and ink and just, random vendor items from various professions. And the guy runs off. We didn't think of anything of it but laugh until he came back with everything he listed. We could not believe it. So he makes the trade, and my husband does a few profession combines he was doing anyway to make it look like he was casting something. This kid asked me what he's doing, so I back it up and say, he's divining the truth, traveler. Soon you will have the answer you seek. So he sits and waits. My husband and I are talking in group chat about, dude, this can't be serious, right? So he gives him a final mission to end the joke. My husband says, your patience has been rewarded. I have sought out the future and it is bleak and much closer than we could have imagined. Go now, hero. Shout it in every street. Tell everyone in the cities of the Alliance that the Cataclysm is closing in within the hour. Hurry, we must warn them before we are all doomed to this fate. And this guy went from Stormwind to Ironforge, and then back in the trade chat, and Slash yelling, the Cataclysm is coming! Hurry, we must defend the city! Cataclysm is coming! By now the disguise had worn off, so we followed on flying mounts to see just how he'd keep going. But gave up after he got on the boat to Darnassus, where I assume he was warning them too. But it was the funniest player side event that I had ever witnessed firsthand. I still don't know if it was troll versus troll or if the guy really thought he had unlocked some exclusive new event. I mean, he wasn't even level 60. And that's it for this week's Tales. If you have an awesome story to share, I would love to help you tell it. Send me your story in an email or a comment below, and I'll make sure it gets read in a future episode. If you like this and my other series and want to help support the channel, like and subscribe, become a patron, or share this video and keep an eye out for new episodes. That's it for me. Thanks for coming, and stay breezy.